everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I, of course, am just another heavy metal maniac, and, well, first of all, I apologize for, my kind of unannounced absence. I kind of disappeared, over the last, 2 weeks just because I haven't been feeling as motivated to make YouTube videos as of late, just because I got, ton of other stuff just going on in my personal life, and just haven't been feeling as up to making videos, but so once again, I apologize for my absence, but I am now back making videos, and hopefully I'll be making more videos on a somewhat regular basis, starting with this one where I am going to be doing a tier list, because I like making tier lists and you guys like watching them, so I am going to be doing another one. And today, this is a tier list that I have actually assembled myself. We're going to be ranking death metal bands. So I've already made multiple videos discussing death metal debuts, but now we're going to be ranking death metal bands. And so this is a tier list I have made myself. And as you can see here, this here list of bands, there are 150 in total. So yeah, quite a lot. So this is going to be a fairly long video, probably the longest video I've made to date. So, get a drink, get a snack, because we're probably going to be here a while. I got my water right here. So, yep, and we got a mixture of just all the death metal bands pretty much. We got old school death metal, modern death metal, blackened death metal, melodic, brutal, you name it, it's on here. So yeah, but without further ado, enough my ramblings. Let's just get right into this video. And we're starting off the list with a more modern death metal band, 1914. I like 1914 quite a bit. I will probably put them at amazing tier for now. Keep in mind these initial rankings aren't definitive, so stuff will probably move around a little bit at least. But yeah, I really like 1914. I think their style of like blackened death metal is really, really good. I like the whole kind of, World War I theme. I like it's just very harrowing. It's very emotional. You really get the sense of war in their music. I think they're a really cool band, so I'll put them in amazing tier. I think they're amazing. Next up, 200 Stab Wounds. 200 Stab Wounds, another more modern death metal band. I'll probably put them in good tier. I like them. But I'm not like crazy about them. For what they are, I think they're a pretty good band. But yeah, no, I don't think they're definitely not anything like mind blowing or anything. They're kind of just they're fairly meat and potatoes death metal. But for what they are, I think they're good. They're pretty all right. Sorry, getting a bit tongue twisted. Abominable Putridity. They're okay. I've never been a big fan of Abominable Putridity. First Slam, I guess they're pretty decent, but I'm also just not the biggest fan of like Slam. So yeah, for me, this band really doesn't do a whole lot for me. So they're just kind of okay. Aborted, on the other hand, I like quite a bit. I'll probably put Aborted at the amazing tier as well. Yeah, I really like Aborted. Fun as fuck live. Saw them live once and they were fucking hilarious and awesome. Yeah, they're kind of brutal, kind of grindy, kind of just very riffy. I love a lot of their albums, like Gormageddon is a banger, Engineering the Dead is a banger, Retro Gore is a banger. I really like Aborted, so yeah, I'll put them in the amazing tier. Adremelech is up next. I mean, Adremelech, they're pretty much, the Finnish Immolation, so I'll probably put them in the great tier. I think all three of their albums, not the longest discography, again, only 3 albums, but they're all pretty damn good. And again, they're like the Finnish Immolations, and I love Immolation, who we'll get to further down this list. But yeah, Adremelech, I think they're pretty great. Aeon, or Ion, however you want to say it. Swedish death metal. This is our first Swedish band on the list so far. I'll probably put them in good tier. Again, very kind of meat and potatoes kind of death metal. I mean, they're one of these like Swedish bands that really worships American death metal, like Deicide and Cannibal Corpse. Some of their lyrics are cringy and dumb as fuck, but for the most part, I think musically they're a pretty solid band, so I'll put them in good. I don't think they're not like mind-blowing or anything, but they're pretty good. Amon Amarth. I realize you probably cannot see this logo super well against the gray background, so for that I do apologize. Amon Amarth. I'll put them in the great tier, probably. I actually really like Amon Amarth. But granted, their last couple of albums haven't been as good. They've been just kind of meh, in my opinion. But, like, for the most part, I think Amon Amarth is a really good band. Like, Twilight of the Thunder God is a banger album. Searcher Rising is a banger album. The One Step from the Golden Hall is the album that got me into Amon Amarth. That's a banger album. Monomorph I think are a pretty great band for the most part, so I'll put them in the great tier. Angel Corpse is up next. I really like Angel Corpse. I'll probably put Angel Corpse in the amazing tier. They're really good. In terms of like black and death metal, I think they're like one of the best. Kind of like Morbid Angel Worship, but they got that black metal evilness to them as well. Angel Corpse is really good. I like them quite a bit, so I'll put them in the amazing. Arch Enemy, probably okay. Yeah, no, I'm not. I like a few Arch Enemy albums. I like the first three that they did with Johan. Granted, the vocals weren't the best, but I mean, dude, the riffs were just absolutely awesome. And I like Wages of Sin. That's a really good album. But after that, I just don't like anything by this band. This band really just kind of plateaus at a certain point, and it's just like the most boring, generic, vanilla Melodeath. I just can't get into it. I reviewed the last album, and I gave it a fairly negative review, which some people seem to be kind of mad at me for. But whatever, that's just my opinion, and yeah, I just don't like it. So for me, Arch Enemy, they're okay. A few really good albums, but they're for the most part very unremarkable. Archspire, on the other hand, is trash. I'm sorry. If you like Archspire, not throwing shade your way, but I hate Archspire. Saw him live too. I saw him live when they were touring with Aborted, and I walked out of the live show because I just did not. The live sound was just as shitty as the studio sound. This band embodies everything I don't like about like tech death, and the vocals, like the fucking this like rapping, but it's like death metal vocals. It sounds so fucking bad in my opinion. Yeah, no, I don't like Archspire at all. For me, they are trash. All right, let's get a bit controversial now because we're going to be talking about Argos Lent. Oh, my apologies. Argos Lent, the racist melodic death metal band. All right, but here's the thing. Musically, I think Argos Lent is really good. I'll put them in great tier, honestly. Musically, they're really good. They're kind of like that heavier melodic death metal, like very much in the vein of like Intestine Ballism, which I love that kind of sound. And there's a lot of like classic metal and like speed metal influence in their stuff too, which I think is pretty neat. I don't like their lyrics at all, but I musically, Argos Lent is a really good band, so I'll put them in great. And we have our first top tier with Acefix. Acefix, yep, they're gonna go straight to the top. My favorite death metal album of all time, Last One on Earth. Again, I've talked about that album to death on this channel. People are probably sick of me talking about it, but I love pretty much every Acefix album. They're possibly my favorite death metal band. At the very minimum, they're top 3. So yeah, Acefix, they're going to go in the top. At the Gates. Where is At the Gates going to go? I'll probably put them in good? I'll put them in good tier. Again, some people are probably going to be screaming at me for putting At the Gates so low. Again, if we were ranking these bands based off of influence, this At the Gates would be much higher. But for just me, my personal preferences, I like At the Gates, but they've never been a favorite of mine. Even in like melodic death metal, I prefer a lot of other bands in that genre. I mean, they do have some really strong albums, like Slaughter the Soul is a banger. Strength from the Night itself, some people don't like that album. I really like that album personally. So, but yeah, At the Gates, overall, I think they're a pretty good band. They have some stuff I don't really care for, but overall, they're a good band. Next up, Atheist. Atheist for me are just going to go in the okay tier. I really like the first album, Piece of Time. It's very thrashy, very kind of like aggressive. It's still like proggy and like kind of a bit jazz fusion-y and all that stuff, but it's a really good album. The other 3, don't care for it. I just really cannot get into anything else by this band. I respect the musicianship, and I own Unquestionable Presence, so who knows. Maybe I'll have to give it a second chance, but as it stands right now, just not the biggest fan of it. Atrocity is next. Atrocity is a weird one because they are so all over the map. Like, they started off as kind of a more straightforward, like, kind of tech death band, and then they kind of switched over into this more, like, industrial, like, goth rock metal, kind of. And now they're back to playing death metal, but with, like, a more symphonic edge to it. I'll probably put Atrocity in okay as well, just because they have a few albums I think are pretty good, but then for the most part, I kind of don't really care for most of this band's back catalog. And again, they're so all over the place, it's kind of hard to judge, so I'll put Atrocity in the okay tier. Autopsy is next. Autopsy is going to go very high. They're going to go into top tier or I'll put them in the fantastic for now. But I love Autopsy, dude. Like again, it's doomy, punky death metal, just gross and just zombies. They're awesome. I love Autopsy. Like they have a couple albums that are kind of like meh, but for the most part, they're a fucking amazing band. Love, love, love Autopsy. Avulse is next. I reviewed the last Avulse album, and I thought it was pretty damn good. Sorry, pretty damn good. Oh, you know, I think that's a fine spot for. I'll put them in great tier. I like Avulse quite a lot, honestly. They have some really strong albums. I think for the most part, they're a very consistent band. They have some, like, Eminence of Putrescence is a banger. Stab Wound Orgasm is a banger. They're kind of like the Spanish Cannibal Corpse, I guess you could say. But overall, yeah, no, I think Avulse is a pretty great band. I like them quite a lot. Baphomet is up next. One and done band, or I guess technically if you count the Banished as the continuation of Baphomet, they're a two and through band, but I'll put Baphomet in the fantastic tier. I'm not going to put them in top tier because again, a band that only has one album for me is not going to be up here with the bands that have multiple albums that are killer. But dude, The Dead Shall Inherit is like one of my favorite death metal albums of all freaking time. I love that album to bits and pieces. Their earlier demos are really good too. You know, Baphomet are a fantastic band in my opinion. Behemoth is next. Some more blackened death metal. I'll put Behemoth in good tier. I think Behemoth are, I think for what they are, they're a pretty good band, but I don't think they're anything to like lose your mind over. They have some strong albums, like Demigod is a good album, The Apostasy is a good album. I still like The Satanist. The last couple haven't been great, and my expectations for this new album are admittedly not that high. I like their early black metal stuff more than their kind of more death metal stuff, if I'm being perfectly frank. But, you know, Behemoth, I think they're a pretty good band, but they're just they're a bit unremarkable in my opinion. Same with Belphegor. Belphegor can go right next to Behemoth. They're kind of the same thing where it's the black and death metal. For what it is, it's good, but it's really not anything special. It's fairly meat and potatoes and, you know, a bit middle of the road. But for what it is, I think it's pretty good. So I'll put Belphegor in next to Behemoth. Benediction, on the other hand, I like Benediction quite a bit. Benediction can go in the amazing tier. You know, I think Benediction is an absolutely awesome band. I didn't get a chance to review the new album, but I love that new album. I think it's absolutely awesome. The album before that, Scriptures, holy shit, that album rips. You know, Benediction, I love Benediction. They're just kind of groovy, old school British death metal, and I think they're pretty damn awesome. So I'll put Benediction in the amazing tier. All right, next up we have Benighted. Benighted are basically, the French Aborted. They are very, very similar to Aborted in their sound. Granted, I think I like Aborted a little bit more than Benighted, so I'll probably put Benighted in the great tier, but honestly, I like the last Benighted album more than the last Aborted album. That's not to say the last Aborted album was bad, but I liked it, but it was just had way too many guest stars. But anyways, Benighted, I like them. They're kind of that grindy, brutal death metal kind of thing. I like them. They're fun. So yeah, I'll put them in great. Next up, the Black Dahlia Murder. Some more melodic death metal, American melodic death metal. Good or great? See, now this is getting a little bit tough because I don't want I'll probably put them in great tier, honestly. I do like I like the Black Dahlia Murder quite a bit. They have some really strong albums. Like, I think Deflorate is a really underrated album, frankly. Obviously, Nocturnal is a classic. Miasma is a classic. They have some really, really strong albums. I think, for the most part, they're pretty damn consistent. So I'll say great tier for the Black Dahlia Murder. Blood Incantation is just okay for me. I've never really liked Blood Incantation. I think they're okay for what they are, but they are so damn overrated, in my opinion. Like, to me, for people claiming as groundbreaking as that they are, I just think they're very derivative, honestly. Like, to me, they sound so much like other bands. There's really no reason why this band should have such a substantial following, in my opinion. I think Blood Incantation is just kind of dull and boring. I've never liked them, so I'll put them in okay. They're not trash, but I've never liked them. Blood Red Throne. I admittedly only recently got into Blood Red Throne, so I haven't heard everything by this band, but from what I've heard, they are pretty damn great. Yeah, they're basically the Norwegian Cannibal Corpse, and for what they are, I think they're pretty damn good, so I'll say great for Blood Red Throne. Bloodbath is next. I like Bloodbath quite a bit. I'll probably put Bloodbath in amazing. Probably above Benediction. Actually, yeah, no, I'll put them right there. I really like Bloodbath. You know, Swedish death metal supergroup, some really, really awesome albums. Getting all tongue twisted again. Fathomless Mastery is such a good album. I love that album. Nightmares Made Flesh is also really good. The last album I thought was really good too. But yeah, top tier talent, amazing death metal supergroup. I think they're pretty damn amazing. Next up, we have Boltthrower. Boltthrower is going to go straight into top tier. I fucking love Boltthrower. Just riffs, man. The riffiest death metal band, like, in existence, probably. Like, dude, so many great albums. Like, War Master, Those Once Loyal, Realm of Chaos. How can you, as a death metal fan, not fucking just love Boltthrower? They're a top tier band. I love them to bits and pieces. Next up, some more kind of brutal death metal with Brodequin. I'll probably put Brodequin in good tier. I like them. Again, they're kind of just that caveman, like kind of death metal. I like them. They're pretty good. Yeah, they're good. Not much to say. Broken Hope, on the other hand, is going to go very, very high. They're going to go straight to the top as well. I fucking love Broken Hope. I am a certified giant Broken Hope fanboy. Yeah, no, so many amazing albums. Swamped in Gore, Loathing, the last album. You know, I love Broken Hope. So for me, they're a top tier band. Next up, we have Brutality. Some classic Floridian death metal. I'll probably put Brutality in the great tier, honestly. You know, I think Brutality is a really good band. Their debut, Screams of Anguish, has just like one of the best Florida death metal albums ever. Their other stuff doesn't quite match up to the debut, but it's pretty good, so I'll say Brutality is a really great band. Yeah. Cancer is next, some more British death metal, very thrashy death metal. They admittedly have some pretty questionable releases, but for the most part, I think they're a pretty good band, so I'll probably say good for Cancer. Again, some really strong albums, and I will be reviewing the new album when it comes out, but yeah, Cancer, I think they're a good band, so I'll put them in good. Cannibal Corpse, the most famous death metal band, and for fairly good reason. I think Cannibal Corpse are an absolutely fantastic band. I don't think I like them quite as much as these three up here, but I mean, again, if you're like a death metal fan, how can you not just be crazy about Cannibal Corpse, you know? Like, all their albums are good. Like, they don't have a single dud in their catalog, and they have so many classic albums, like Tomb of the Mutilated, classic, The Bleeding, classic, frickin' Kill, classic. Cannibal Corpse, they're the most popular death metal band for a reason. It's not hard to see why. They're a fucking fantastic band. Next up, Carcass. This might get some people kinda mad at me. I don't know. I'm probably gonna put Carcass in the good tier. Again, I've seen other like death metal bands tier lists. Most people have Carcass like, you know, up there somewhere. But I'm gonna put Carcass in good tier. I like Carcass, but they've just never been a favorite of mine when it comes to death metal. They have some good albums. Necroticism is a good album. Swan Song is underrated as fuck. I love that album personally. Heartwork is pretty good, even if I think it's slightly overrated. You know, Carcass, they have some strong albums. They have some other albums I'm kind of like meh on. I think they're a good band, so I'll put them in good. Carnage is next. One and Done. Basically the Dismember Carcass supergroup that only put out one album. I'll probably say amazing for Carnage. Yeah, that again, only one album, Dark Recollections, but it's a pretty damn good album. So, yeah, I'll say probably amazing tier for Carnage. Cattle Decapitation is next. Don't really care for their earlier stuff when they were kind of like more of a straight up like gore grind, death grind kind of band. But the new stuff I think is absolutely amazing. I'll put them in amazing tier. Like, dude, the last few albums I think have been absolutely awesome. Anthropocene Extinction, Death Atlas, love those albums. Terrorcite, the last album I thought was a banger, and dude, those songs have been stuck in my head. Like, We Eat Our Young has been stuck in my head since I first heard it. Yeah, Cattle Decapitation, again, the early stuff, not overly big on, but the new stuff is absolutely amazing, so I'll put them in amazing. Cenotaph is next, and this is the Mexican Cenotaph, just to be clear. I didn't include the Turkish one, just because I thought it'd be a bit confusing to have two different bands called Cenotaph. So this is the Mexican Cenotaph, and where are they going to go? They're going to go reasonably high, mostly just because of that first album. I love that first album. One of my favorite death metal albums of all time, again. Just so damn heavy. The other stuff is really good, too. It's definitely more melodic, but I think for the most part, they're a pretty damn good band. I'll probably put them there. Yeah, no, I think that's a fine spot for it. Again, I like the other stuff, but it's not as good as the debut in my opinion. But dude, that debut, oh, that's a top tier album right there. The Chasm is, speaking of Cenotaph, because this band is obviously kind of tied to Cenotaph, The Chasm is a fantastic band. I'll put them right at the top of fantastic. They're teetering on the edge of top tier, but dude, I love The Chasm. Such an underrated death metal band too. Like there's like black metal mixed in there. It's proggy, it's doomy, it's epic, it's sorrowful. I love The Chasm. They're a fantastic band. Really, really, really amazing. Children of Bodom is just okay in my opinion. I've never been big into Children of Bodom, to be honest. I've just kind of I've just never been into them. I've tried to get into them, but I don't know what it is. They just don't appeal to me at all. So for me, they're okay. They're okay. Cyanide is next. Cyanide is gonna go in amazing. Yeah, no, Cyanide, I like Cyanide quite a bit. Very kind of doomy death metal, very much Celtic Frost worshipping, death doom, and I think they're consistently a very awesome band. I like Cyanide quite a lot, so I'll put them in amazing. Coffins is up next. Coffins, some more kind of death doom. I'll probably put them in great. You know, I think, or maybe good. I don't know. See, now this is getting hard. Now, do I like Coffins as much as these guys up here? You know what? You know, I'll say yeah. I like Coffins. I like Coffins quite a bit. They're kind of like the Japanese Asphyx, I would say, to some degree. Like vocally, maybe not, but musically, I think they're very comparable. Last album, again, I thought was really good. So I'll put Coffins in great. I think they're a pretty damn good band. Convulse? Convulse is tricky because, dude, that first album is absolutely amazing, but everything else in this band's catalog is just not good at all, so I'll probably have to put them in okay tier. But again, dude, World Without God is such a damn good album, but everything else is just not worth your time at all, in my opinion. The last album was terrible, so I'll probably have to just say okay for Convulse. Cryptopsy is next. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There you are. Cryptopsy. Amazing? Probably. Maybe. Possibly. Cryptopsy's tricky because they're inconsistent. I'll probably say amazing for Cryptopsy. Just because when they're at their best, man, they're at their best. Like, the first two albums are classics, obviously. Whisper Supremacy is really good. The self-titled I really like. The two EPs they did, I think, were really good. But they have some, like, other albums that are, like, the last album I thought was just kind of okay. Like, Unspoken King is terrible, and Then You'll Beg is terrible. They're inconsistent, but again, when they're at their best, man, they are just releasing some of the best death metal albums of all time, so I'll put them in amazing. Cynic, yeah, again, Cynic, very much like Atheist. I respect the musicianship quite a lot. These guys are exceptionally talented. I'm not taking anything away from them. But I've just never been a fan of their music. So for me, Cynic, they're okay. Dark Tranquillity. I like Dark Tranquillity quite a bit. I'll probably put Dark Tranquillity in the amazing tier as well. In terms of like the Gothenburg Melodeath, Dark Tranquillity I think are one of the best. Again, it's kind of got that introspective, rainy day, kind of sad vibe that I really appreciate in music like this. You know, and again, for the most part, they're a pretty consistently awesome band. Some really, really strong albums. So I'll say amazing for Dark Tranquillity. Dead Congregation. Oh, get out of there. You are going to go much higher than good tier. Probably amazing for Dead Congregation as well. They're kind of like that perfect 50-50 blend of like immolation and incantation worship. And I think they do both those styles exceptionally well. I mean, yeah, Greek death metal, I think they're pretty damn amazing. I like Dead Congregation quite a bit, so I'll put them in amazing. Death is next. The pioneers of death metal, as many people say, and I am inclined to agree. My Death discography ranking is actually the most popular discography ranking I ever did on this channel, which, so thank you, Death, for bringing me all those views. Thank you, Chuck. Fantastic or top tier, though? That is the question. I'll probably put them in Fantastic just because I don't find myself going back to Death as much as some of the other bands on this list, but I mean, come on, Death are just an amazing band. All of their albums are absolutely killer, and again, such a really cool evolution to like follow over their career. But yeah, Death, I mean, they're fantastic. They are the pioneers of death metal. So yeah. Decapitated is up next. I will probably put Decapitated in the great tier. I'm not like the biggest fan of like tech death, but I like Decapitated style of it because it's very much more kind of death metal forward in my opinion, which I definitely appreciate. And they have some really strong albums I haven't heard. There's still a couple that I need to like actually sit down and listen to, admittedly, but Decapitated are a pretty damn great band. So while I think they're a really solid, tech death band. Deceased is up next. Deceased is another kind of an oddity because I don't even know if I'd call Deceased strictly a death metal band. Like they were definitely very much a death metal band in their early days, but they kind of evolved to like kind of this more like death thrash, heavy metal, kind of death and roll hybrid type thing. I'll probably put them in the great tier though, because I think Deceased are a pretty damn good band. King Fowley is such an underrated death metal frontman. I love King Fowley. And yeah, it's kind of, fun, campy, again, thrashy death metal. I think they're pretty damn great, so I'll say great. Decrepit Birth is up next. Some more kind of like tech death stuff. I'll probably put Decrepit Birth in good. I really like the first album when they're kind of a much more brutal band. They switched over to kind of being more technical in their later stuff. But yeah, I think they're still pretty good, so I'll put Decrepit Birth in good. Deeds of Flesh, on the other hand, is a fucking fantastic band, and they're going to go straight to fantastic tier. I love Deeds of Flesh. Dude, it's one of the most consistent bands in brutal death metal. They are so damn consistently awesome, and they have so many amazing albums. Trading Pieces, and dude, I just love Deeds of Flesh, so for me, they're fantastic. And my last video was actually my Deeds of Flesh discography ranking, so go watch that if you have not. Defeated Sanity, some more kind of brutal tech death. I'll probably put Defeated Sanity in amazing. Yeah, no, I like Defeated Sanity quite a lot. I think they're kind of a bit more of kind of like an acquired taste than some other brutal death metal bands, because they're much more technical than other stuff like Broken Hope, and they're also definitely even some like kind of like jazzy kind of like stuff, like jazzy drumming and stuff. The drum work is absolutely insane. Lyle Gruber, that man's a beast behind the kit. The last album, Chronicles of Lunacy, was a banger. I like Defeated Sanity quite a bit, so I'll put them in amazing. Deicide, kind of like Cryptopsy, they're inconsistent. I'll probably put them right next to Cryptopsy, honestly, because again, when they're at their best, they're releasing some of the big greatest death metal albums of all time. The first 4 Deicide albums are absolutely almost untouchable in my opinion. And then they have some other good stuff. Central Redemption is a banger, but when this band has some really shit albums, like Until Death Do Us Part is just terrible. Incinerate Him, terrible. And Torment in Hell, terrible. Last album with the AI art, I thought was just kind of, it was okay. They had some really good songs, but for the most part, it was just kind of okay. But again, inconsistent, but when they're at their best, they're at their best. So I'll say amazing for Deicide. Demigod's very much kind of in the same boat as Convulse, just because the first album is so damn amazing, but then everything else is just not that good, like at all. So, but I don't know, because Demigod has a shorter discography than Convulse, because they only have 3 albums. Like, the first one is so amazing, but the other 2 are just not good at all. Okay, this is getting tough. Do I put them in good or okay? I'll probably put them in okay for now, just because, like, 2/3 of their discography I don't like, so, I'll say okay for Demigod. But it pains me, because Demigod is so good. Demilich is up next, some more Finnish death metal. Do I put them in trash? Do I do it? I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna put them in okay. I don't necessarily hate this band, but I cannot get into them. I've tried multiple times to get into Demilich, and I just can't. I don't like the vocals at all. I don't like the music. To me, it's just kind of like boring and just, I don't like Demilich at all. So for me, they're okay. Desultory, on the other hand, or Desultory, I'm still kind of fuzzy on how to say it because I've heard people pronounce it both ways. I'll put Desultory in great tier. They're Swedish, classic Swedish death metal. They're very much in the vein of like kind of Dismember, where they're kind of melodic, but they're not like a melodic death metal band. Even some kind of like death and roll kind of stuff. They only have one album that's like kind of not good. But yeah, Desultory, I think they're a pretty great band, so I'll put them in great. Next up, Devourment. The reigning kings of Slam. I guess I used to hate Devourment. I used to be like, I don't get this band at all. I know I've told the story a few times before, but I'll say good for Devourment. I think they're good. Yeah, they have some pretty strong albums. Maleficent Decapitated, pretty great album. Obscene Majesty, the last album I thought was pretty good. So yeah, I'll say good tier for Devourment. Disembowelment is next. Kind of like Baphomet, only one album, but that one album is so goddamn amazing. So I'll put, here, I'll actually probably bump these two down next to each other because, again, only one album each, but both of those albums are so goddamn amazing. I love Transcendence and Disapproval. That some people say it's Funeral Doom. I disagree. To me, it's just kind of more Death Doom. Very doomy Death Doom, but Death Doom nonetheless. But yeah, fantastic band. Fantastic. Alright, who is next? Some more brutal death metal with Disgorge. I like Disgorge a lot. I'll probably put Disgorge in the great tier, next to Volst. Yeah, no. Disgorge, pretty damn awesome in my opinion. I like them quite a bit. Maddie Way, one of the best like brutal death metal vocalists, and they not the longest discography in the world, but it's pretty damn good, so I'll say great tier for Disgorge. Disincarnate is next. Another one and done band. Probably put the Disincarnate next to Carnage. I don't like the one Disincarnate album or the one Carnage album as much as these one and done bands, but I mean it's a damn good album. So yeah, James Murphy, one of the best death metal guitarists ever. So yeah, or just metal guitarists in general, honestly. So yeah, Disincarnate, they're pretty amazing. Next up, Disma. Disma is another one and done band. I'll probably put them next to Disincarnate and Carnage because that one album, again, I don't like it quite as much as these two up here, but it is a really goddamn good album. Towards the Megalith, whew, that album is so damn heavy. You know, Disma, they're pretty damn amazing, so I'll say amazing for Disma. Dismember, on the other hand, is one of my favorite death metal bands, and yep, they are going to go straight into the top tier. For me, when it comes to Swedish death metal, I think Dismember are honestly the best. Yeah, I know Entombed and Crave and, you know, all those other guys, but Dismember, in my opinion, is the best Swedish death metal band. Swedish old school death metal band, at least. Every single album is good. They don't have anything even remotely close to a bad album, and they're melodic, but they're also brutal and riffy, and just, I love Dismember, so for me, they are a fucking top-tier band. Next up, Drawn and Quartered. Very much like Dead Congregation, kind of that perfect 50-50 blend of immolation, incantation, worship. I'll probably put them in, I'll say Amazing. I feel like Amazing's getting a bit full. I'll probably try to be a bit more conservative about putting stuff in Amazing. But, you know, Drawn and Quartered, I really like Drawn and Quartered. I think all their albums are pretty damn good. Yeah, no, again, more kind of like immolation, incantation-y worship kind of stuff. They can go next to Dead Congregation. They're really good. I like them a lot. Dying Fetus is up next. Did a ranking for Dying Fetus, and, yeah, I love Dying Fetus. For me, I'm gonna put Dying Fetus into the top tier. Get in the top tier, you. Yeah, no, I love Dying Fetus. Dude, every single album is absolutely killer in my opinion. Yeah, no, Dying Fetus, brutal, techy, kind of grindy. All their albums are really, really, really damn good. So many amazing albums, and you know, I love Dying Fetus. So for me, they got to go in the top tier. They just gotta. Next up, Edge of Sanity. Yep, Edge of Sanity is pretty damn great, I'd say. Levi, Flashmaniac99, if you're watching this, I know you're probably going to kill me for not putting Edge of Sanity up near with the tippy top, because I know you're a giant Dan Swano fan. But I like Edge of Sanity. They're good, like, progressive, melodic death metal. Yeah, I think they're pretty damn great, so I'll say great for Edge of Sanity. Entombed. Entombed is also a tricky one, much like Deicide and Cryptopsy. Because their first three albums are, like, you know, some of the greatest death metal albums of all time. Some people don't like Wolverine Blues. I love Wolverine Blues. And I honestly love a lot of this band's other stuff. Like, I love Morningstar. I love Uprising. They have some, and I even love To Ride, Shoot Straight, and Speak the Truth, which I know some people don't like that album, but I love that album, personally. Honestly, put them in the Fantastic. Yeah, no, they have a couple albums that are not great, but for the most part, I love Entombed, so I'll say Fantastic for Entombed. Exhumed is up next. Yeah, no, they're Carcass Worship. I'll probably put them next to Carcass. Yeah, no, they're a Carcass Worship band, and I think they're good for the most part. I don't like listen to them like a whole lot, admittedly. And there's other bands on the list I would definitely, reach for more, like literally all these bands above them. But I like Exhumed. They're a pretty good band, so I'll say good. Flesh Crawl is up next. Flesh Crawl, I'll probably put into great tier. I really, really love their first album. After that, they kind of shifted a little bit into more straightforward kind of death metal, I would argue. But Flesh Crawl, I think, are very consistent for the most part. I think they're a pretty great band, so I'll say great for Flesh Crawl. Fleshgod Apocalypse. Okay, now we're getting into some symphonic death metal. I might say good for Fleshgod Apocalypse, just because I don't listen to them a ton. Like, I really kind of have to be in a mood to listen to Fleshgod Apocalypse, because not only are they, like, very symphonic, they're very technical as well. Like, so two genres I'm kind of like, I can be in the mood for, combined into one band. So yeah, I do like them, but I have to be in a mood to listen to them, so that's why I'm going to put them in good tier. Frozen Soul can go next to, like, 200 Stab Wounds. Kind of the same thing. They're a pretty good band, but they really don't do anything mind-blowing or super original. They just sound like an icy cold Bolt Thrower, and I mean, I love Bolt Thrower, as you guys can all see. So yeah, I'll put Frozen Soul in good tier because they're pretty good. Fulci, another kind of like more modern death metal band, kind of more brutal, more on the brutal side, I would say. I'd say probably good for Fulci. I like them. The Italian themed horror, obviously they're all about Lucio Fulci, if you couldn't tell by their name. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I like Fulci. Yeah, I'll say good for Fulci. Gatecreeper, kind of the same as, these guys down here. I like Gatecreeper. Again, they are kind of a bit of a hardcore band, masquerading as a death metal band. That's a criticism some people have, and I get it, but I like Gatecreeper. I think they're pretty good. I like the last album, even though it was definitely more melodic. But yeah, again, they're not like mind-blowing. They don't do anything super original, but they're pretty good. I like them. Goatwhore. I like Goatwhore quite a bit. The Goatwhore can go into amazing. Goatwhore is pretty damn good. Yeah, very thrashy, blackened death metal. Sammy Duet, one of the best guitarists in metal, in my opinion. I love Goatwhore. Just the evil, blasphemous, very thrashy, very aggressive. Goatwhore, they're amazing. God Dethroned, some more black and death metal. They can go next to Belphegor and Behemoth. Again, very much in the same vein. They don't do anything like super original or super mind-blowing, but they have some really strong albums. Grand Grimoire, I really like that album. I like their kind of like World War I trilogy that they did. They're solid for the most part. I don't love them, but they're pretty good. Gorefest, some more Dutch death metal. I enjoy a lot of Gorefest stuff. They have a couple of, they've kind of that middle period where they kind of went full, kind of more death and roll, kind of groove metal, and that's not that good in my opinion, but I think, their debut is so goddamn good, and a lot of their other stuff is really good too, their last couple albums I thought were really good before they kind of broke up. I'll probably say great for Gorefest. I really like Gorefest. I think they're a pretty good band. Gorement is up next. Gorement, number one and done death metal band. There's going to be a few more one and done bands on this list. Gorement can probably go next to all the other one and done bands, just because, again, that one album I don't like quite as much as these two up here, but it is a really, really damn good album. Very damn heavy and very emotional, which I like too. So I'll say amazing for Gorement. Alright, who is next? Some more brutal death metal. Gorgasm. I like Gorgasm quite a bit. I'll probably put Gorgasm in the great tier as well. They're very aggressive, very just pummeling kind of style of brutal death metal, which I definitely appreciate quite a bit. Damian Lesky, really solid frontman, and I think Gorgasm are a pretty great band, so I'll say great for Gorgasm. G for Gorgasm. G for great. Anyways, Gorguts. Gorguts is an odd one. Maybe good for Gorguts, just because I really like the first two albums. The first two albums are definitely my favorite by them. Consider Dead, still my favorite Gorguts album. I like Aversion of Sanity quite a bit too. Obscura, I still just don't like at all. Just cannot for the life of me get into that album. I've tried, I just can't. But the other two albums I think are pretty good. I like From Wisdom to Hate. I like Colored Sands. So, I think I'll say good tier for Gorguts. Next up, Grave. I like Grave quite a bit. Grave are a pretty damn good band. Really only like one album that I would say is kind of like flat out bad, because for the most part they're pretty damn consistent. I'll probably put them at the top of amazing. You know, I like Grave quite a bit. So many great albums. Like You'll Never See, banger. Into the Grave, banger. The last album, Respect for the Dead, another banger. So I'll say amazing for Grave. All right, who is next? You have to, yep, doing a bit of scrolling because the list is getting quite full. Gruesome, another kind of these, you know, new wave, old school death metal kind of bands. I'll probably say, you know, they can go next to all the other ones, I think. They're specifically, you know, like a Death Worship kind of band, Matt Harvey doing vocals, and, you know, I like them, but they're definitely not like, again, they're not mind-blowing or anything. They sound like Death for what they are. They're pretty good. I like them. I'll be reviewing the new album when it comes out, so yeah, I like Gruesome. Hail of Bullets is up next. Hail of Bullets, I'll probably say good for Hail of Bullets too. I like them, the Dutch death metal supergroup, but they're like, I feel like they could have been slightly stronger given the sum of their parts, but you know, I think they're pretty good. So I'll say good tier for Hail of Bullets. I like the whole, you know, World War II theme and all that, so, you know, they're good. I like them. Hate Eternal. Musically, Hate Eternal has always been amazing. The production-wise, they definitely, it's much more 50-50. They have some really good sounding albums, but then you have shit like Fury in the Flames, which is like the mightiest death metal album I've ever heard in my life. I'll probably say amazing, though, for Hate Eternal, because their music has always been, well, I'll leave it amazing, just because, again, production is definitely an issue, and it does kind of affect my enjoyment of a couple of their albums, honestly, but I mean, musically, Hate Eternal has always been a really good band, so I'll say, you know, amazing. Hideous Divinity, some more kind of like technical death metal, a little bit brutal. I mean, Hideous Divinity, they're pretty much the Italian Nile, so, and I love Nile, so I like Hideous Divinity. I'll probably put them in great tier. You know, I think that's a good spot for it. Yeah, Hideous Divinity, I think they're a pretty good band, so yeah, I'll say great. Hypocrisy is next, some more kind of melodic death metal. I'll probably put Hypocrisy in good tier as well. I'm not like a giant Hypocrisy fan. I like them, but I've never been like super crazy about them. Peter Tägtgren is one of the best death metal vocalists though. Like, I will never question that man. He is an amazing death metal vocalist. Such insane range. But Hypocrisy's music I like, but I've never, again, just not like a super fan, so I'll say good for Hypocrisy. Immolation, on the other hand, I am probably a super fan for Immolation. I love Immolation. They are, again, one of the most consistent death metal bands ever. They're going to go in top tier. Yeah, no, I fucking love Immolation. So, you know, so influential, that, you know, dissonant kind of style of death metal. They pioneered it, and I still think they probably did it the best. So, you know, I love Immolation. The first 5 Immolation albums are, again, like untouchable in my opinion. So I'll say top tier for Immolation. Next up, In Flames. In Flames is probably going to go next to Arch Enemy. Again, I really like I love their early material. Actually, I'll put them at the top of OK, because I love their early material. Early In Flames is absolutely golden, but their other stuff is just not good at all. Like the Siren Charms and Battles are just terrible albums. But man, when they were good, they were so good, but they've fallen off so damn hard that I have to put them in OK. Incantation. Incantation is probably also going to go in top tier because I fucking love Incantation. I mean, I love Immolation too, and I feel like if you love Immolation, you should probably also love Incantation. That's just kind of, you know, a bit of a given, I feel like. But, you know, Incantation, did a ranking for them too. They're fucking amazing. Love Incantation. For me, they're going to be at the top. So, yeah, they're a top tier band. Next up, another one and done band, Infestor. I'm not the biggest fan of the vocals in Infestor. To me, they kind of remind me of like later era Chris Barnes, and I feel like my hatred of Chris Barnes is somewhat well documented on this channel. I say somewhat well documented. It's very well documented. But I'll probably put them next to the other like one and done bands because musically, just some of the dirtiest, nastiest, grossest sounding death metal ever. You know, there's a whole controversy with the whole racist lyrics, but you know, whatever. Infestor musically is amazing, so yeah, I'll say amazing. Insomnium is up next. Some more kind of melodic death metal. I like Insomnium quite a bit, actually. I'll probably put them next to, like, the Black Dahlia Murder. Again, they're kind of like in that Dark Tranquillity vein, although I would say Dark Tranquillity is probably a bit better. I like Insomnium. They're kind of very, you know, melancholic, very introspective. They got kind of that cold, kind of winter vibe in their stuff, too. Finnish melodic death metal. I like them. I think they're pretty great. Eternal Bleeding is up next. The OG pioneers of slamming brutal death metal. I'll probably put Eternal Bleeding in great tier as well. For Slam, I think they're exceptionally good. Their debut, Voracious Contempt, I love that album. And their other stuff is pretty damn good too, so I'll say great tier for Internal Bleeding. Again, the true pioneers of Slam. They pretty much invented the style, so yeah, they're pretty damn great. Alright, next up, Intestine Ballism. I love Intestine Ballism. Short discography, only 3 albums, but they're all so goddamn good. Like Banquet in the Darkness, oh, one of my favorite albums ever. I'll say fantastic for Intestine Ballism. I love them. They're an absolutely incredible band. Again, melodic death metal, but fucking brutal melodic death metal. I love them. I love them. Alright, who is up next? Actually, before we do that, I'm going to take a quick little sippy sip. H2O, where would we be without it? Anyways, Jungle Rot is up next. I'll probably say good tier for Jungle Rot. Yeah, no, I like them. They're very meat potatoes kind of death metal, and again, they don't do anything super original or super mind-blowing, but for what they are, they're pretty good, so I like them. Kalmah is up next. I like Kalmah quite a bit. To me, Kalmah is kind of like almost like the better Children of Bodom to some degree, because again, they're very similar style with that melodic death metal, power metal kind of mixture. But yeah, I like Kalmah quite a bit more, so I'll say great tier for Kalmah. Yeah, no, I like them quite a bit. Cataclysm, on the other hand, I'll put them in okay. Never been a big fan of Cataclysm, to be honest, just because, I don't know, they're, it's just kind of plain, kind of middle of the road. They're like one of these death metal bands I've just never really been able to get into. I just find them kind of derivative, and meh, they're fine. They're fine. They're there. Crisian, on the other hand, I love quite a bit. Crisian is absolutely awesome, in my opinion, so I'll put Crisian in fantastic tier. Yeah, no, Crisian is absolutely awesome. Brutal, fast, unrelenting at all times. All their albums are pretty damn good. Love, I say pretty damn good. All their albums are really good. Love Crisian. They're fantastic. Next up, Macabre. I'll put Macabre at the bottom of okay. Oh, no, not trash. They would be trash if I didn't like at least a couple of their riffs. Because musically, I think they're pretty solid. It's just the vocals they give me. I don't like the vocals at all. I hate the fucking high-pitched, shrieking vocals in this band. I just can't do with them. Can't deal with them. So for me, they're going to be an okay. Malevolent Creation. Classic Floridian death metal. I'll probably say great tier for Malevolent Creation. They have a couple albums that are just kind of meh. But for the most part, they're consistently pretty awesome. So I'll say great tier for Malevolent Creation. Yeah, no, I think that's a fine spot for them. Next up, Malignancy. I like Malignancy quite a bit. Brutal, technical death metal. Their last album I thought was really damn good. So I'll probably say amazing for Malignancy, honestly. Great. Do I like them more than Gorgasm and Internal Bleeding? Actually, probably not. I'll probably put them next to Gorgasm. So, yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's fair, right there. Massacre is gonna be going okay as well. Like, yeah, From Beyond, yeah, Inhuman Condition, yeah, everything else, no. Promise is one of the worst metal albums ever made. Even if it was bad, they could have done better than Promise. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it is so bad. Master is up next. Very thrashy death metal. I like Master quite a bit. They do kind of write the same album over and over again, but it's a damn good album, so I'll probably put them in great. Yeah, no, I like Master quite a lot. Misery Index is up next. Some more kind of grindy death metal. Death grind, I guess, would be the technical term. Yeah, I like Misery Index. To me, they're kind of like one of these bands that are kind of like Master, where like they're consistently just awesome, but they don't really have any albums that are like super stand out as being really, really good, but they're consistently pretty awesome, so I'll say great for Misery Index. Next up, Monstrosity. Monstrosity is absolutely awesome. Monstrosity, they're just classic Floridian death metal, done perfectly. I'll put them right up there, honestly. I like Monstrosity a lot. So many great albums, like In Dark Purity is amazing. Dude, Imperial Doom is amazing. Monstrosity is an amazing band. They are going to be very happy right there with Benediction. Next up, Morbid Angel, one of the big dogs. Morbid Angels, I mean, when Morbid Angel was at their best, again, they were at their best. Like, I'll honestly probably put Morbid Angel in, okay. Do I put them next to Cryptopsy and Deicide just because when they're very much in the same boat, because like when they're at their best, they're at their fucking best. Like Altars of Madness is a masterpiece. Covenant is a masterpiece. Fucking Gateways to Annihilation. Oh, no. They have too many exceptional okay, now this is getting hard because I'm probably going to leave them right there just because no, I'm gonna bump Morbid Angel up, actually. I'm gonna bump him up to Fantastic. The last 3 albums haven't been good at all, but the first 6 are all really good, so yeah, I'll say Fantastic for Morbid Angel. Alright, who is next? Oh, sorry, my hair's getting in my mouth. Morgoth. Morgoth, I actually like Morgoth quite a bit. I'll probably put Morgoth at the bottom of Great, just because only 4 albums, but 3 of those albums I like, 1 I don't really like. But the first 2 EPs I think are really good too, so yeah, I'll say Great for Morgoth. They're kind of, you know, one of these German bands that really worships like American death metal, specifically Death and Obituary, but I think they're pretty damn great, so yeah. Next up, Morpheus Descends. Morpheus Descends is very underrated in my opinion. Never one and done band, but that one album is really, really good. I'll probably put them in the, I'll put them right above Gorement. Yeah, again, Morpheus Descends. Kind of that similar 90s style of death metal where it's kind of in the vein of Incantation, but I feel like that doesn't encompass their whole entire sound. But, I really like Morpheus Descends, so I'll say amazing. Alright, who is next? Morta Skuld. I love Morta Skuld. Morta Skuld is so damn underrated in my opinion. I love pretty much all their albums. I'll put them in Fantastic. Yeah, no, Morbid Angel, they're amazing. Yeah, I love, not Morbid Angel, Morta Skuld. Dude, Dying Remains, it's such an amazing album. As Humanity Fades is such a damn good album. I love Morta Skuld, so for me, they're fantastic. Alright, next up we have Mortal Decay. I like Mortal Decay quite a bit. I'll put them in maybe the top of Great, just because Forensic is an absolutely amazing album. Such a disturbing listen, honestly. Everything else in their discography isn't quite as good as Forensic in my opinion, but they're pretty consistent, so I'll say Great for Mortal Decay. Mortiferum is up next. I like Mortiferum quite a bit. Out of the more modern death metal bands on this list, I think Mortiferum are definitely one of the best. I'll say Great for Mortiferum. Very doomy, just kind of oppressive, dark death metal. I really like them, and I can't wait for them to put out another album, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely great. So yeah, Mortiferum. They're a great band. I like them. Mortification, some Christian Australian death metal, and they're okay. The first 3 albums are really good. They're very thrashy death metal, and yeah, they're really good. But I mean, everything else, they kind of switched over to this more kind of like groove metal kind of style, and it's just not that good at all in my opinion. So yeah, no, they're okay. Oh, excuse me. Napalm Death is also going to go in okay. Again, some people are probably going to scream at me like, why the fuck do you have Napalm Death? Whatever, just take a little sip of water and just calm down. We're all friends around here. Napalm Death. I like a few of their albums. I like Harmony Corruption. I like Utopia Banished. I probably need to go back and listen to some of those albums just to see if I like them a little bit more. But for the most part, Napalm Death doesn't really do a whole lot for me. So, they're okay. They're okay in my opinion. Necrophagist is also going to go in okay. A lot of bands going in okays here. I've just never been a big fan of Necrophagist, honestly. Again, it's like technical death metal, and it's just really not my style. So, yeah, they're okay. Necrophobic, on the other hand, I like quite a bit. I'll probably put them in Great as well, probably. Yeah, no, Necrophobic, black and death metal. I think they're one of the better black and death metal bands out there. I think they're pretty damn great. So, yeah, I'll say Great here for Necrophobic. Next up, Necrot. I just can't get into Necrot. I don't know what it is about them, but I just don't like them. So, yeah, they're okay. Just can't get into them. Oh, sorry, I yelled twice. Jesus Christmas. But yeah, just can't get into Necrot. I don't know what it is. Just have tried, just can't. But yeah, that's it. Nihilist. I mean, Nihilist was basically just, Entombed before they were Entombed when Johnny Headland was still in the band. I'll put them in Great, though, because obviously those Nihilist demos are absolutely legendary for a reason, and they're great. They are good, so I'll say they're pretty great. Yeah, they're pretty great. Mortician. Mortician will probably go in good tier. Mortician is kind of number one of these bands where I have to be in a mood, much like Flesh God, have to be in a mood to get down with the Tish, you know, just because, I used to hate Mortician, but now I've really grown to enjoy them. It took me a while to get into them, but you know, I have now, but again, it's still kind of a thing where I need to be in the mood to listen to Mortician, so they're good. I like them though. Nile, on the other hand, is a fucking amazing band. One of the best death metal bands out there, frankly, and they can go right up there in the tippity top with the best of the best, if I can actually know how to use a fucking computer. You know, I love Nile. They're absolutely amazing. Like, dude, Exposum, The Gods Detest. Oh, that album is amazing. Annihilation of the Wicked. I love that album. The last album, The Underworld Awaits Us All. That album's absolutely amazing. So yeah, top Nile, they're top tier. I love them. Next up, we have Nocturnus. Nocturnus is okay, in my opinion. The first album is really good. The first album, The Key, is, you know, huge landmark album and, like, progressive, technical death metal. It's really good. Everything else is just kind of meh, in my opinion. So, yeah, no, they're okay. Nunslaughter. I like Nunslaughter. So many damn releases, though. Like, they only have, like, what, six studio albums out? But they have approximately 2 billion splits and 3 billion, like, compilations. I don't know how the hell they have so many damn releases. I don't know how the hell Nunslaughter fans keep up with all the new stuff they fucking put out. But, you know, they're pretty great. I like them. Very freshy, kind of grindy, just primal, raw, aggressive. I think Nunslaughter are pretty great. So, yeah, I'll say great. Next up, Obituary. I'm actually wearing an Obituary shirt right now. You know, I love Obituary. Some of their albums are kind of just meh, but dude, I gotta put Obituary in the fantastic tier. Yeah, no, I love Obituary. So many stellar albums. Like, dude, Cause of Death is such an amazing album. Slowly We Rot is just as amazing, in my opinion, or well, slightly less amazing, but almost just as amazing. The last two albums I really loved. I love Obituary, so yeah, they're a fantastic band. John Tardy, one of the best death metal vocalists out there. I love John Tardy. Obscura can go next to Necrophagist, very much in the same vein, just kind of that technical death metal kind of thing. Not overly big on it, just I don't hate it, but they're okay. I'm just not big into them, honestly. Opeth is up next. Opeth is gonna go quite high as well. I actually really like Opeth. Some of their more kind of like prog rock kind of stuff I'm not really overly big on, but honestly, I could put Opeth in the fantastic, because when Opeth is really at their best, man, they're really just, you know, at their best. Like, dude, I love Still Life. I love, like, you know, I love. Why am I blanking on the names of these Opeth albums? Damn it. Well, Deliverance is my favorite. I love that album. I love Blackwater Park. I love My Arms Rehearse. Again, the kind of more prog rock era, not overly huge into, but that's kind of on this like list, you can kind of count that as a separate thing, because this is death metal bands like that. They weren't doing death metal on those albums, so I kind of count that as a separate thing. But yeah, Opeth, they're a fantastic band. I really love them. All right, next up we have Oppressor. Oppressor, this is kind of like the kind of the tech death that I like, because this is very much more death metal kind of forward, in my opinion. I'll put them next to Decapitated, probably below Decapitated, but you know, Oppressor, only 3 albums, so not the longest discography in the world, but it's a pretty damn good band. So yeah, I like Oppressor quite a lot. Next up, Pestilence. Pestilence is gonna go in okay. I like the first 3 albums. After that, don't care. Just don't care. Patrick Mamelli is one of the worst frontmen in death metal, or else I like to call him Patrick the Smelly. So yeah, Patrick the Smelly, he ruined Pestilence as far as I'm concerned. But again, the first 3 albums, Consuming Impulse, it's a classic for a reason, but yeah, for the most part, I just don't really care for Pestilence, so okay, they're okay. Pissgrave is probably going to go in trash. I don't get the appeal of Pissgrave at all, honestly. To me, their sound is, they just sound raw and like shitty and just kind of not good at all. I don't like Pissgrave at all. I heard some good stuff about the new album, so maybe I'll check it out, but whatever. Pissgrave is just blech, meh. Portal is also going to go in trash. Is Portal even death metal, honestly? Like, they're barely even, like, metal. Like, honestly, like, a lot of their stuff is just kind of, like, noise and, like, just, like, avant-garde weirdness. Like, it's, like, basically, like, it's like immolation riffs, but they're being played in a room with like 1,000 old fans playing at once, and they're not good at all in my opinion. I don't get the appeal of Portal at all. To me, they just sound like noise. I don't like them, so they're trash in my opinion. If you like Portal, no offense to you, but not for me. Not for me at all. Punch and Stench, on the other hand, I like Punch and Stench quite a lot. They're goofy, gross, just kind of grindy, kind of thrashy death metal. I like Punch and Stench quite a bit. They've even done some Death and Roll kind of stuff. They've really done a lot of different styles of death metal, so I think they've done it all pretty damn well. So I like Punch and Stench. Pertinence, some more classic Finnish death metal. Pertinence, better than Demigod and Convulse, because I think for the most part their discography is much more consistent. I'll probably say great tier for Pertinence. Yeah, no, they're pretty great. I like them a lot. Their first album, absolute banger. So yeah, pretty great. Hair in my mouth. Pyrexia is up next. Suffocation Worship, but I think for Suffocation Worship, they're pretty damn good. I'll probably put Pyrexia in the great tier. I can go with all the other kind of like more brutal death metal bands, I think. Yeah, Right On here is good. One of the early pioneers of like brutal death metal, and again, they sound like Suffocation, but they do put their own spin on it enough, and I like them, so I'll say great tier for Pyrexia. Rippikulu, a band that has no albums, so yeah, no albums, but I mean, Rippikulu is one of the legend bands in Death Doom for a reason. They're amazing. I'll put them in amazing. Yeah, no, I like Rippikulu quite a lot. Very heavy, very oppressive. Yeah, no, they're really good. Ripping Corpse, Dreaming with the Dead is one of the best death metal albums of all time, in my opinion. Again, only one album, but that one album is so amazing and their other like demos are really good and stuff too. I'll put Ripping Corpse up here with all of these guys here. I'll bump these guys down at the bottom because again, only one album, but man, all these albums are so goddamn amazing. Like, these are 3 of my favorite death metal albums of all time by these bands. So again, not gonna put them at the top just because only one album, but they're so, again, they're really good. I love all 3 of these bands. Next up, Rotterdvor. Rotterdvor can also go up there with Ripping Corpse and Baphomet. Again, only one album, but that one album is so fucking damn heavy. This band is basically if you took, like, Incantation and mixed it with, like, Pertinence or, like, Adremelech, basically. And it's like that Incantation death metal, but mixed with that Finnish gross ooziness. Yeah, no, Rotterdvor are a fantastic band. I love them. I love them, love them, love them. And they're still active. Hopefully they'll maybe get around to making another album. Who knows? Who knows? Sanguisugabogg. Trash. Sorry, not sorry. I don't like Sanguisugabogg at all. Out of this whole wave of like kind of modern death metal bands, I think Sanguisugabogg are one of the worst. I don't get why they're so popular. Like, to me, they're just like the most stock brutal death metal, and they're like really shitty brutal death metal. Like, their guitar tone sucks, their drum sound sucks, the vocalist sucks. They're just goofy and stupid. I just don't like Sanguisugabogg at all. For me, they are T-rash. Now back to some more death metal that I actually like. Seance. I like Seance quite a bit. I'll probably put Seance in with Desultory. Again, they're kind of like one of these Swedish bands that doesn't really sound Swedish. Like, they sound a lot more American, but I think they sound pretty damn good. So yeah, I like Seance. All right, well, oh wow, not much more to go. Only a few more to go. So let's just quickly, I guess, go through this. So far, we've been at this for an hour. So yeah, let's keep it rolling. Septic Flesh. This is definitely my go-to for like symphonic metal in general. Honestly, I like it more than Fleshgod, because I feel like they do a good job of balancing out the more symphonic elements with the more death metal elements better than Septic Flesh, to be honest, or better than Fleshgod. I mean, you know, I like Septic Flesh quite a bit. Some really strong albums. Communion is awesome. Codex Omega, I thought was really good. You know, I like Septic Flesh. They're pretty great. Sinister can also probably go in great tier. Again, they're kind of one of these classic, you know, death metal bands. I think they're pretty damn good. I think maybe some of their albums are kind of just okay. They're kind of whatever, but some really good albums, like Cross the Styx is really good. Diabolical Summoning is really good. Yeah, no, they're a pretty great band, so I'll say great for Sinister. Next up, 6 Feet Under. I think you all can guess where 6 Feet Under is going to go. Yeah, no, they're going to go in trash. Even when they're at their best, they are not good. Like, at their best, they're generic, just boring, middle-of-the-road vanilla death metal. At their worst, oh my god, they are fucking unlistenable. you know, I cannot stand 6 Feet Under. I can't stand this band. So for me, they're gonna go in the trash tier. Skeletal Remains, one of these new wave old school death metal bands that I actually really like. I think Skeletal Remains does it really good. I'll probably put them next to Mortiferum. You know, I like Skeletal Remains quite a bit. I think they're really damn good. So yeah, I'll put them in great. Yeah, again, I think they out of the whole kind of more modern death metal bands, or I guess new wave old school death metal revival bands, I think Skeletal Remains do it really good. Skinless, one of the bands that got me into more brutal death metal. I really like Skinless quite a bit. I'll probably put Skinless in the amazing tier, or well, I guess I'll probably put them next with their other kind of like brutal death metal cousins, I guess. I like Skinless quite a lot. Trample the Weak is one of my favorite death metal albums, honestly. But then you have other stuff like the song titles on their first album are absolutely, on the first and second album are absolutely ridiculous, and I love them. But yeah, Skinless, I think they're pretty damn good. Next up, Soilwork. Soilwork, one of these another melodic death metal bands. I'll probably put them in good. Yeah, no, probably I'll put them in good. I like Soilwork, but again, this is like good tier. This is kind of reserved for like bands that I like, but I don't necessarily love, if that makes sense. Yeah, Soilwork, I think they're a good band. I like them. Some good albums, some not good albums, but I think they're pretty solid. So yeah, good for Soilwork. Spectral Voice. I mean, this is the guys in in Blood Incantation, but this is like their more death metal or death doom project, I should say. I really like Spectral Voice. I mean, their last album was in my top 10 albums of 2024. I love that album. I'll say amazing for Spectral Voice. I like Spectral Voice quite a lot. You know, if they're very much kind of similar to kind of Disembowelment, I like Spectral Voice. They're very heavy, very dark, very oppressive. I really like them, so yeah. Amazing. Next up, we have Sulphur Aeon, another kind of more modern death metal band, more blackened death metal. I really like Sulphur Aeon too. I think they're really good. They kind of do a good balance of like kind of the sinister black metal and like the heavy death metal. I'll put them next to Spectral Voice, honestly. I really like Sulphur Aeon. The first album is really good. Their last album was really good. The album cover was kind of weird, but I really like the album itself. Yeah, no, Sulphur Aeon, they're pretty damn amazing, so I'll say amazing. Next up, we have Suffocation. Suffocation, the granddaddies of brutal death metal, and very influential to tech death as well. Yeah, no, I love Suffocation. I mean, again, if you're a death metal fan, how can you not love Suffocation? They are basically, again, they are the pioneers of brutal death metal. I'll probably put them in Fantastic, though, just because, for me, Suffocation, I don't think they're as consistently awesome as all, like, these guys up here. Personally, that's just kind of my interpretation, though. Like, the first 3 albums, they set the bar so high for themselves, but then they never really quite cleared it, I don't think, again. But they're consistent for the most part. They're very awesome, so, you know, they're fantastic. Gotta love Suffocation. Gotta love them. Alright, only a few left to go now, so let's just kind of quickly get this over with, I think. Time Ghoul is up next. Time Ghoul is a very cool band. I'll probably put them in great tier. Again, they never put out an album. They've only put out a couple demos and then like an EP that was a compilation of those demos. But Time Ghoul are a pretty damn good band. So yeah, I like them quite a bit. Very influential to Blood Incantation. And honestly, I think they're a lot better than Blood Incantation. So, you know, Time Ghoul are pretty damn great. Next up, Tomb Mold. Tomb Mold can go with like Frozen Soul and all this other stuff. I used to be a lot more into them. Well, I've kind of fallen out of them a little bit. I still think they're good. Again, they're kind of they're not mind-blowing or anything, but they're a fairly decent band. So yeah, I like them. Ulcerate. I love Ulcerate. I've really grown to love this band. Only got into them last year, but their new album, Kind of Oh God. Oh, I love that album so much. That was my number 1 album of the year. And yeah. No, I love Ulcerate. I love Ulcerate. I'll put them in Fantastic just because I feel like I maybe need to spend a little bit more time with them, but yeah, because they're not up there with like these guys quite yet, in my opinion, in my personal rotation, but you know, I love Ulcerate, so I'll say Fantastic for Ulcerate. Next up, alright, we only have, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left to go. Unleashed. I like Unleashed quite a bit. They have some shit albums, but like Warrior and like Hell's Unleashed, those albums are pretty damn bad, but for the most part, I think they're a pretty damn good band. Like, you know, Where No Life Dwells is a really good album. Across the Open Sea is a really good album. Midwinter Blot is really good. You know, they're a pretty great band, so I'll say great for Unleashed. Vader. Ah, I love Vader. Very thrashy death metal, very consistent. Like, their new stuff is so damn good. Like, in comparison to so many of these other old school bands on this list, their new stuff is absolutely fucking mind-blowing in my opinion. Honestly, I'm gonna put Vader in the top tier. I fucking love Vader. Again, one of my favorite death metal bands. Yeah, I love Vader. And again, they're so consistently awesome, and their new stuff is so damn good. It's on par with their old stuff, honestly. I love Vader, so for me, top tier. Alright, next up, we have Vital Remains. Vital Remains is another one that, for me, is going to go into the tippity top, because Vital Remains, they've done pretty much every style of death metal that there is. They've done old school death metal, they've done melodic death metal, they've done blackened death metal, they've done brutal death metal. And they do it all so exceptionally well. And yeah, I mean, they've done it all, and I love them. So for me, Vital Remains, yeah, I love them. They're one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. Certified Vital Remains fanboy. That is me. I love them. All right, next up we have Vitriol. Vitriol, another more modern death metal band. I like them quite a bit, actually. I'll probably put Vitriol in the great tier as well. Great tier is pretty full, but I'll put them there. They're kind of like very technical, very kind of dissonant and aggressive. I like them quite a bit, so I'll say I like Vitriol. I'll say great. All right, down to our last two, Vomitory. I'll probably put Vomitory next to like Seance and stuff like that, if I can find where Seance went. There you are. Again, another one of these Swedish bands that really loves like Floridian death metal. I think they're pretty consistent for the most part, or well, they're very consistent actually. And yeah, they're really good, so I'll say they're great, yeah. And our last one is Wombbath. Wombbath I'll put in good. Yeah, the first album was really good. Their other stuff is pretty good, but not like outstanding. Yeah, no, I'll say good for Wombbath. One of the classic Swedish death metal bands, but I don't think they're up there with the other big name Swedish death metal bands, not by a long shot. So I'm just gonna quickly go through this and see if there's anything I want to like move around at all. Top tier, I think all these guys are gonna stay. I kind of like the way this looks as it is right now. Also, but there's a couple that are kind of teetering on the edge. Maybe. Well, I'm gonna leave them now because for me, if like one of them comes up, they all have to go up. So I'm just gonna leave them for now. Amazing tier is looking pretty good, I think. Great tier is definitely very full, but I think it's looking pretty all right. A good tier is looking pretty good. I think okay tier is pretty all right, and the trash tier, I mean, I don't know which of these is my least favorite. I kind of dislike all these bands pretty much equally, so you know. But yeah, that finally concludes this video. Definitely the longest video I've ever made. It's currently an hour and 12 minutes long, so hopefully y'all haven't like, you know, fallen asleep or anything, or like completely tuned out. But yeah, that concludes my death metal bands tier list. 150 bands. Whew, quite a lot. If you guys want to make this tier list yourself, I'll probably leave a link to it in the description or pinned comment, something like that. But yeah, this is the kind of, I guess, my comeback video because I've been absent for a short period of time. And but I do plan on making videos on a more regular basis. So yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, you are awesome and I appreciate you. Do consider leaving a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me, do you agree with my rankings? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. If you're not subscribed, do consider subscribing because I do have a lot more content coming your way. And well, that about does it. I am just another Heavy Metal Maniac. I'll see you all sometime in the future. In the meantime, all of you take care and have a great day. So long.